We have mostly cloudy skies, 79 degrees right now in the nation's capital. There's a low this evening of 76 and a 20% chance of rain in the forecast. And as the weather people say, you know, that's what they're forecasting. But last night, it rained all night long, didn't it? Thank you so much for joining us on the drive home. I'm Steve McKinney. This is Hard Copy. We're brought to you today by the Utilities, Regulations, and Competition Authority, IRCA, Bank of the Bahamas, the Bank of Solutions, BTC Everyday, Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarkets, the McKinney Media Group for effective PR concepts and advertisements, Island Made Products, Ministry of Tourism, the Department of Labor, Advantage Insurance and Brokers, Superwash, with 11 locations open 24/7 around the island of New Providence, Ron's Electric Motors. Ron Frazier can fix anything, small motors included. They're on Claridge and Wolf Road. Sky Bahamas Professionals in every way, every day. Kalina Financial Advisors Limited, CFAL. Executive Printers for LaserCheck Prints. Also, Henry F. Store, the Light People on Mackey Street. And Le Bleu Ultra Pure Drinking Water. Yesterday, we talked about the back half of the governance of this particular administration, that there is really no room for failure. Failure is not an option. That's what we talked about. Today, of course, on the show, we've got to take a look at some very urgent matters that I'm not so sure that you all have been basically focusing on in such a way that we can bring some resolution. Now, you know, let us not mince words today. Let us have a frank discussion. Your involvement is very necessary because really I put the question on the table based upon the numbers of phone calls that I've gotten and people wanting to talk about something that could be very emotive and explosive. And all I'm saying today is, as we talk about it, we've got to really focus on what it is that we want. What is it that the Bahamian people want in their country? And more every day, it seems as if we are losing ground because we don't speak up enough on issues. We don't bring real sense to a lot of things that are very serious issues. Sometimes we talk about these things, and I'm talking about the collective, we as a people, talk about things that are important, but we are not so very serious about how important they really are when we look at the future of the Bahamas. Let us look at this immigration problem. Please, let us look at it. Can we do that today? Can we look at where we are? I'm going to talk about a number of things here, in fact, but I'll put these caveats on the table for you so that you can give me your 2 cents and your viewpoints on it, because I think that people in the Bahamas now are overwhelmed with a number of things that it doesn't seem as if we're making any real traction on. One of them happens to be immigration. Another is crime. But more importantly, this immigration matter has become very vexing because it seems like there are some among us who continue to push the envelope. And I believe they're doing that because the government does not seem to be very urgent in their approach to these matters. They seem to be more scholarship about trying to please people with regards to, what the other outside people would think about us if we do certain things. Plus, there are mixed messages that we are sending, friends. It is my opinion that we are sending mixed messages with this whole thing about the Haitian diaspora in the Bahamas and immigration in particular. We're sending the wrong message. I mean, how do you tell a people that you are repatriating them, that you don't really wish for them to be here, that you want to send a message that there is no more room in the inn, and at the same time you could relax your rules and your laws on repatriation at a time when they want to have something within your country that has shown you some numbers that should scare you? Think about that for a second. It should scare you. It should scare you for the future, because really, if you see the kind of things that I saw in the newspapers with the Haitian Flag Day, there's nothing wrong with having a Haitian Flag Day or a Jamaican Flag Day. It is what we are doing with mixed messages. And I suppose they would be very encouraged to have these events if, in fact, laws and policies are going to be relaxed because they want to have this. And I know what I'm talking about here. You see, the bottom line is people have had enough of this thing. There's some real realities that we've got to face. And while I mean not to insult anybody or to be offensive to anybody, the position is that my job is to talk about those things that people have on their minds and want to talk about, but somehow are reluctant because the government is not leading in certain areas. The government cannot tell me that they have not been lackadaisical in certain instances where it comes to what the agendas are for certain people. And as a result of that, we get to see full-scale, what really is happening here in our country. Now, we have a situation here where either we want to build the Bahamas for Bahamians as a priority, with others who are going to assist in the building up of this country, but you can't have it two ways. If you want to be here and you want to be a part of what is going on in our country, then for crying out loud, how can you say that you want to be here, you want to be citizen, but you're celebrating a Flag Day foreign to us in our country, and you're still looking for citizenship? Please answer. Because you can't have it both ways. And we cannot be stupid as a society to allow for it to happen. Listen, those who are here, who have taken residence in this Bahamas, and who say that they want to be a part of working themselves into the system to be a citizen, to be loyal to the country. You can't have it both ways. You're either in or you're either out. You're either with us or you are against us. These are things that are troubling to say because the leadership of the country is too very quiet on this. Very quiet. And the trouble is that we are sending mixed messages. Either we are trying to rehabilitate our matter with illegal migration and those who are here illegally, or we're not. You can't have it both ways. And this is a very serious and crucial matter because while we look at what is happening here, friends, you have a country in doubt of natives who are not so sure who we're building the country for, what the future holds. We have a national debt of $6 billion that we, the people, legitimate in the Bahamas, must pay the bill. We're the taxpayers, officially. There's no ducking of any bills for Bahamians. Every bill we must pay. There's no underclass in the position where there's a subculture of Bahamians who can't pay. You better pay, and you must pay. But the debt is $6 billion. $6 billion, and growing. The debt ratio to GDP, unofficially, is somewhere around 70, but officially by the government of the Bahamas is somewhere around 60. It is too high either way because once it's over 30, we are in crisis. Those international agencies, International Monetary Fund, IDB, the rest of them, they know this. But here's a $1 billion debt. Here's a $6 billion debt that's being serviced by the Bahamian people who are the legitimate taxpayers, yet there is great repatriation of monies going out of this country by those who are sending monies home, whether they're here legitimately or not. And this is millions of dollars. Monies can go home to their native lands, but taxes aren't being paid. Who are we building the Bahamas for? And more succinctly today, as it is fresh in the minds of many who saw this whole thing about, this Flag Day. You see, why are you having a Flag Day of celebration? This is not a celebration of independence. This is not how the Jamaicans do their independence celebration or other territories, other nationals in our country. This is a focused Flag Day, lifting a flag in another country that's sovereign, that has its own flag, by a group of people who really don't belong here. That's the bottom line. I know you don't like me for saying it, but I have to tell you. Why do I tell you? Not because of any hate mongering, no, but because we've got to get it right as a country. You cannot be sending mixed messages and expect to clear up a problem that we have in the country. Now, why would anybody want to insist of having a Flag Day in the country to lift up another country's flag in our country, and they still say they want to assimilate and be Bahamian? I don't get it. Do you? There's only one flag. If you want to have a day of celebrating your culture, that's different. But when you start to say this thing about you're going to ride around the country with your flags in a jeering fashion, be not fooled. The T-shirts in a jeering fashion. What is this all about? Are we on the brink of some kind of confrontation. Because that's what a government that's not doing its job will cause. You can't have it both ways. You just can't. But that's where we are today, and that is contributing, my friends, to the misery index, because misery does not only mean about the fact that we ain't got no money and the economy is bad and people ain't got no jobs, but it also means that even in your social comforts, there is no relief. What do you want the people to do? So maybe we ought to truly speak to this issue. And you can tell me without any passion, just, what do you think? Should we have these things reoccurring in our country? That has really been an irritating situation for native sons and daughters of the Bahamas. You know it's to be the truth. It's been an irritation. And the numbers are growing. And if you look at the pictures and you see the amount of young, over. The amount of young persons being indoctrinated under another flag within our country, it is over. As far as this is the Bahamas is concerned. Now, I know that some of you are very much frightened of that kind of conversation, but I have to tell you, you must make no apologies for being a Bahamian in the Bahamas. This is your country. You must make no apologies for these politicians who are cockeyed. They can only see things one way, their way. We have to put pressure on them to do their jobs. And if they're not doing their jobs adequately enough, we have to at least insist that, look, man, we can't have two countries. We can't have two countries in one country. Thousands of Dominicans woke up this week without citizenship in any country. They woke up stateless on Monday morning after the deadline expired for people born to undocumented parents to apply for migrant permits under a widely criticized 2014 law. This is according to the human rights watchdog Amnesty International. They're upset about it. But the Dominican Republic, they're doing what they think is in the best interest of sovereignty and of their people. They say thousands of Dominicans. But who really are these Dominicans that they're talking about? People who've encroached on the landmass of the Dominican Republic? This is a very serious thing. We don't want to get there. We have to bring about the kinds of policies that's going to ease the tension and policies that's going to be applicable in a way where we could try to please as many as we can. But the fact of the matter is, we are sending the wrong messages internally and externally as a country. That's my view. You got an opposing view? Please call me. Because you cannot be doing what we are doing and expect it to get any better. It's a lot of tension here. And it's rightly so, because people feel as if in their own country, they don't stand a chance. And the numbers are increasing with the other people. And they make no apologies for it. And they are unrelenting. Smack dab in the middle of the city, we are raising another flag. I want you to see that, friends. I cannot agree with that. I tell you that with all my Christian love. We know the ramifications of such a thing. If you encourage this kind of thing as people push the envelope, you are encouraging problems. You are courting disaster. Because the ones who are coming up and who are growing up, they have a false impression as to where they are and what they're doing. There's separation. There's no togetherness. We've got to be careful. We're playing with fire. And we could very well be playing with fire. I hope it's not for the myopic idea that, oh, we got to win an election and, we need votes, because that's a consideration. What we need in the Bahamas today are some strong young men who are going to stand up and defend the sovereignty of the Bahamas. Those who are here and qualified to be legal, thank you. We appreciate you. Let us make you legal. But you know what? That has other ramifications. Just check Article 7 of the Constitution. There are things that one must do. One of them, renounce any other country of your birth if you are going to be Bahamian in the Bahamas. There's no toleration and no consideration for two nationalities or two flags in one country. There's part that talks about renouncing. If you are to be a part of us, you have to renounce and come along under the attitude, the laws, the policies, the way of the people who you have now decided will be your people. You will be my people, and I will be your people under one flag. Some people leave them alone, they just want to celebrate. Yes, you can celebrate your nationality or your cultural traditions. Many don't want to part with them, and I understand that. But when you are doing this to a point where you want national recognition of another flag in a sovereign country, you push in the envelope, and you got to have an agenda. That's my view. What's your view? There's no need. Absolutely no need for it. Absolutely none. So why are we allowing this? Because, you see, we have to be, we don't want to cause no problem. Well, we ain't want to seem too hard. But, listen, when you send a message, you send a message. And the message that we're sending is that we really don't care. We don't mind. Go ahead. Go ahead. There's no need why you can't drive around and hoist your flag on Bay Street and everything else. Let's just do it. I mean, it's no big deal. We don't really care. Now, I know this is difficult for you to deal with, and I appreciate that. But hear me very loud and clear. There's no problem from me at all. No opposition for you to have your cultural gatherings and whatnot. I have no problems with that. What I do have a problem with, and I'm just one Bahamian, is the insistence of this flag thing in this sovereign country, and it is not done for the right reasons. I put it to you. I challenge you today. It's done as a teasing mechanism. And only the sovereign country, the government of a legitimate country, can deal with these kinds of things. Most Bahamians, I want you to know, find it egregious, insulting. They had enough of that kind of stuff. Come now, we have many nationalities here. What's the big deal with these guys from Haiti deciding that that's what they want to do? What's the big deal? Well, the Jamaicans don't do it. The Peruvians don't do that. It's a different mentality with these people. But we want to sit back and just decide that, you know what? Well, I ain't getting in that, gosh, and yeah, well, fine. The country called the Bahamas has a flag. I say, if you want to be a part of this country, that's the flag you want to have. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in the Bahamas, do as the Bahamians do. What message are you sending? That you're really not of us, but you're here, you're profiting, and you having a good time, but you're not. Come on now, people, let's see this now. Let's see this. Let's see this. And I don't blame them in particular. I blame their misguided leaders. And I blame our misguided leaders. Because we ought to say, now listen, we appreciate that you all want to have an expression of a cultural thing. That's fine. You can go right ahead and do it. But this thing about parading around with these flags in a sovereign country, nationally, may be a little too much. Especially now at this critical point of where we are with trying to fix the immigration policy, that we can accommodate our brothers and sisters from the South who really legitimately want to be here and who have a legitimate claim to be here. There's nothing wrong with that. But we all know that that's not the case, where it's only them. No, sir. I call for the government to take a look at that, to rethink that position. If it wasn't so bad, right? Let me just give you the scenario. If this situation wasn't bad and vexing and tempting and, provoking, the government of the Bahamas would not have been looking at ways and means to keep them off the streets during that day. Would not have been looking to the Royal Bahamas Police Force to minimize any kind of activity and any motorcades and stuff on the streets, if it wasn't provoking. Come now, we can cooperate, we can get along, But let us do it properly. Let us get along by respecting the sovereignty and the citizens of this country. Anything else is provocation. The policeman was busy on Saturday past. Busy trying to keep things on, watching the situation. Because like every other nationality, there will be some outrageous ones among the bunch who will do things of provocation. Why are we allowing that to happen and walking into that? That shouldn't happen. Not at all. And don't give me this crap about a free country, because that means something else to some other people. Free means you come in and do what you please. You don't even have to have a passport. This is not a free country like that. We are free to move about and do some things, yes, but you must be a citizen. Other than that, you should sit small. And I make no apologies for saying it. The abundance of the others, you see the youngsters, the generations that's before us with another people. You all haven't been listening to Myles Munroe. I'm talking to the government. We are cultivating others who don't want to assimilate. Because if you want to assimilate, you don't need no flag, except the Bahamian flag. That's the message that's being sent. In case those of you are wary or blind, I come to tell you. It's only one message. The message that we preach is one of peace and love and unity. Unity means together, not separate, not doing your own thing. Unity. But some people never heard what we should be doing.
A nation is made of one language. This is very key. You cannot have 3 or 4 languages in a country. And that's very important, because language is to a country like blood is to a body. It is the very essence of communication of the people. You cannot have people having different understandings and different definitions of words. So language, gotta have one language for a nation to be unified. When I hear people talking about, our kids being required to learn a second language because of the amount of people in our country who speak it, we are about to destroy our country. Now, I can learn a language for the sake of commerce, business, expansion of our national vision, for example, tourism. I can learn Chinese or Japanese or French because we have French citizens. But I'm not going to learn it because we get a group of French people here or Japanese people here who require that they maintain their language. Therefore, I got to learn their language to communicate with them. This is the destruction of a country. So when we talk about language, it's only one language makes up a country. You would remember, for example, that this language powerful thing is very critical. A black man created the first country in the Bible. His name was Nimrod. He's the first one to establish a city. So when you talk about black history, we begin as the first people to establish a country. This is documented in Genesis chapter 11. It's done by a black man who was called the Great Hunter. His name was Nimrod. And he built what they call a citadel, which we get our word city from. He brought everyone together in a central place. And he gave them, what you see on this list, he gave them one land, he gave them a national vision to build a tower. But this time, their ideology was a problem. They wanted to build unto themselves, forget about God who created them. So God made a determination that, these people are so powerful because, and he said to them, he says, if they agree on the same thing and they agree to do the same thing and they are unified, he said, nothing shall be impossible to them. In other words, when a country gets unified, they become dangerous even to God. And God decided to stop the project. How did God stop that project? He didn't send soldiers to attack them. He didn't send an army to attack them. He didn't send angels to attack them. The Bible simply said he confused their language. And the project stopped. The fastest way to destroy a country is to give it multiple languages, because now the people don't understand each other. And when you start feeding the duplication of languages or the diversity of language in a country, you are basically eroding the very foundation of the unity of the country, and you are causing the projects to stop. You're shutting down your economy. That project stopped. And the scriptures actually says that the Tower of Babel could not be built because the people could not understand each other. So God destroyed a country, not by an army, but by confusing their languages. And when you start dabbling with triple languages and double languages, you are destroying a country. So this is very important for us to protect against. And I become concerned even when I hear people say, well, it's important for our kids to learn 2 languages. No, it isn't. It's important for anyone who comes to our country to learn our one language.
Our language.
Because that's the key to unity. And history has proven that any country that allows the inculcation of a separate culture and language will constantly become a victim of destruction.
Yes, what the late Dr. Miles Monroe is saying is that if there's no assimilation under unity, under oneness, we're on the fast track for destruction. I couldn't say it any better. That's the bottom line. Forget about who don't like who and look at the essence of what we are talking about. There's no need for all these things that we are doing, It is just that there's slackness in the government, in the philosophy of the government. And this is not just this government, successive governments. Because this has been happening for a little while, and every year it comes around, people get all upset about it. I'm trying to talk without people being upset about it to show you the reality of this whole matter. There are some among us in media who believes that it's only a matter of time before a massive takeover happens in this country. Bahamians think about it every day as they see the numbers grow and they hear the language of Creole and Patois permeating the atmosphere in their neck of the woods. There are some Bahamians who are totally foreign to this because they are in secured gated communities elsewhere, and really this is no concern to them. But only he who feels it knows it. Only he who hears it daily recognizes it. And so it is nothing big. It's not a big deal to deal with it, It is a lack of courage that is the problem, that we don't have to deal with it. No, we must not be having these kinds of things happen because it's not a good thing. You must encourage others among us who want to celebrate their cultural whatever in their neck of the woods. That's fine. But this kind of pushing the envelope on raising another flag on a country with a sovereign flag has to be rethinked. It is not good for the development of the country. If it offends the natives of the land, the government of the natives of the land ought to listen and adhere and deal with it. It's not hard to deal with. You simply ask them to cease and desist. But that's not going to be tolerated. Yes, you can do it. It's the right thing to do. I tell you today, the headlines out of the Dominican Republic is not good. Amnesty is all bent out of shape. Amnesty is saying, boy, you know, this whole thing about thousands of people waking up stateless on Monday after the deadline expired for the people born to undocumented parents. It's our same situation. To apply for migrant permits under a widely criticized law that came in effect last year in the Dominican Republic. It said the result of a long-standing political battle against illegal immigration from a neighboring Haiti, the vast majority of those affected are descendants of Haitian migrants without citizenship in the country of their birth. The newly stateless people will be subject to deportation. It remains unclear, says Amnesty International, precisely how many people failed to secure citizenship in the country of their birth by last night's deadline. But Amnesty cited Dominican government figures showing that only 5,345 people had applied to normalize their status as of January 9th, out of an estimated 110,000 people estimated to qualify. So you see, there was a stubbornness in the Dominican Republic. They gave them a period. Out of 110,000 people, only 5,000 tried to do something about it. So thousands woke up this morning as non-citizens of the Dominican Republic. And because they didn't apply, they had no status in Haiti either. We have a Haitian embassy here that does precisely that. This goes to my point from the caller from last week when I told you that once they are born here, even though they're born to non-Bahamian citizens, non-citizens, they have citizenship, not in the Bahamas, in the land of their birth, in the case of the people from the Republic of Haiti. And if they don't go and apply for it, which is what Fred Mitchell said, you have to have some status. You see, it doesn't mean that you have status in the Bahamas, you know. It means that you have to show some kind of identification, and you can get that through your embassy. But most of them have rejected that. They do not want it. That's what happened in the Dominican Republic. They didn't get it. So this morning, when they woke up, they were considered stateless from the Haiti perspective and stateless without citizenship on the landmass that is shared, that place called Hispaniola, that is shared with Haiti, Dominican Republic. And all of the cry in the market from the international persons, just like we've had, didn't amount to hill of beans as far as the sovereign law of the Dominican Republic was concerned. It sounds heartless, it sounds cruel, but there's a reason why. There's an economic reason. There's a reason why they have to do what they are doing. The country is losing. The country can't take care of them. We are losing. We can't take care of them. But we don't have the willpower to say, hey, wait a second. Get sorted out. Let's make sure you're regularized. Let us get that done. And who is not, let's get rid of them. They have to go home. We're not doing it. What we are doing is allowing for them to get more ground, more of their tentacles in the ground as anchors by saying, well, go ahead and have your Flag Day. The Bahamians can't do nothing about it, and they ain't gonna say nothing. That's why it's an important discussion. You heard Miles. We can't have a country with these mixed languages and talking about unity. When is the unity going to come? When? They're not happy. Bahamians are not happy. Where's the unity? We've got to just carry out our laws and our rules, and who can be accommodated, so be it. Who cannot be accommodated, so be it. But this thing about having mixed messages, that while we have been rounding up, you don't like that word, while we have been gathering these people and sending them out for being illegal and coming into the country legally, we are also saying it's okay to go and have this Flag Day. You can send mixed messages, man. I maintain that. What do you think? 325-0235 325-0242 325-0252 53. It is not the people of the nationality that I say I give them wrong, even though I know that many of them have pushed the envelope and could care less. They are provoking in many cases. I say a country of laws ought to insist that our laws are adhered to and that we don't do all of these things that we are now digging a deeper hole for ourselves. And all the politicians know that. They will tell you that themselves. They may not say it individually or publicly, but that's how they feel. How do you feel? 325-0243, 325-0242 325-0252 Call me. Let's talk. Hard copy, how are you?
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Very good.
Issue maker here. Now, this idea about the flags, I've been thinking about this for many years. And I've had some years back to travel into Haiti on business and back out. Never seen a Bahamian flag flying in Haiti. And for our national vision on flags, what is the policy?
The policy is that only our flag is supposed to fly in the Bahamas on a regular, national, everyday business, unless there's some international thing that we're doing, and then we fly the flags of all participating countries.
But what happens is that in most legitimate countries, if you want to fly a flag, you need to purchase a permit.
Yes.
If you want to fly it on your car, you have to have a permit. Otherwise, you're ticketed, and you have to make you take it down, and you pay a fine. So I don't know why our politicians have not yet come to the realization that they need to run this country. This country is simply running by itself.
I agree with that. I think what is happening is that we lack courage, and we don't want to upset the apple cart. We don't want to bring up things that Bahamians take exception to. We want to just leave that alone. Leave it on the down low. Don't touch that. That's how we have been operating for the last 50 years in this country.
But you don't run a country like that.
I know you don't. That's why I'm saying today that while I embrace the freedoms of everybody who's legal in my country, and celebrate their national day, their independence, and all that kind of stuff in their neck of the woods, that's fine. But when you're talking about we're going to have a flag day because we want to, and we're sending a message, and the T-shirts that they wore, see, I saw it firsthand. See, I don't know if people realize what some of them, not everybody, like everything else, there are people who are troublemakers in every grouping. Yeah. It's provoking. It doesn't make any sense to me. It seems to be trying to beckon confrontation.
We have always shown love to these people, but we have a country to run. And until our politicians come out of hiding, we can have a problem.
Yeah, well, we need to call on them.
Come out and do this job.
That's right. That's what I say every day. Just do your job. I mean, you don't have to apologize for doing your job. For God's sake, this is our country. God gave it to us to run. Let us be serious about this.
Let's get it done.
I appreciate your call. You don't have to make apologies for it. We got a country to run. We have a right to feel that we belong. We have a right as citizens of the country to feel that we are first. We keep making exceptions and, making excuses. What are we doing? We're sending mixed messages. What do you expect these people to do? Either you're really trying to rehabilitate this immigration problem or you're not. Fred Mitchell and everybody's talking about this whole big episode. The Americans are concerned about this whole big episode of smuggling. We have a major problem with it. Certainly, this is no time to flaunt another flag in your country, unless I'm just mistaken. I wouldn't do it. But boy, sit small? Who? You mean the Bahamas must sit small? Hard copy, how are you?
Hello.
I'm listening to you.
This is Steve.
This is the one and only. Is this Sir George?
You are right on top.
Well, I'd rather be on top than on the bottom.
But what's interesting is I wonder if you saw that headline this morning in the newspaper, which said that the police said that they had 100,000 people out there to the parade.
Which parade?
The carnival.
The carnival, yeah. Well,
No.
I didn't see it.
No, that's not a light thing. When you are saying that you have in the whole country you have 300,000 people, and you say you had a third of your whole population.
That's right.
Out on the street or at this function.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
How is it then?
Count like spirit.
300,000 people. And we're talking about New Providence. We're not talking about the country.
No.
So somebody's been giving us bogus numbers for a long time.
Yes, sir.
I've been trying to point it out for a long time, especially on your shows over the last 15 years or so. But it sounded crazy, I guess, when I pointed it out.
Yes.
But we got somebody giving out deliberate phantom numbers. Now, this thing is more than crazy, because when I raised these questions, people said, "Oh man, he's crazy. He don't know what he's talking about," and all that sort of stuff. But the Haitian element, the other day, some fellow got arrested or whatever was involved. He quite frankly, he stated that there are more of them than there are of us. He pointed that out way back then.
Yes, he did.
Nobody seemed to have understood what the man was saying. Of course, he said he apologized for saying what he had said. But nonetheless,
he didn't apologize for that. He apologized for the Colombian necktie comment. He didn't apologize for saying there are more of them than there are us.
Okay. So here we go. And it seems we invite problems. I read the paper the other day where the Filipinos have their own volleyball and basketball league.
Yes, I told you that.
No. I read this some time ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay? They have their own leagues, and we facilitate them and give them the Kendall Isaacs gym to do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Every Sunday.
There are no Bahamians involved.
Every Sunday,
while
you are in church,
Bahamians, they don't want them in their league.
10,000 order down at the GL Isaacs while you're in church on Sundays.
Well, I know.
Yeah, I've seen this with my own eyes.
Yes, but of course.
See.
But therein lies the problem.
But see, what I'm saying here, George, I'm wondering if we have the willpower, the wherewithal to deal with these kinds of matters. It seems to be an insults and, very, very, very provocative in the eyes of the Bahamian resident and citizen and national. I mean, do we have what it takes to just simply say, look, we know that you are of this particular heritage. You want to celebrate and have a fun time, that's fine. There are parameters. There are certain things that we invite you to consider to not at least offend others. We don't seem to want to do anything. It's carte blanche. Just go and do it. And if you feel like parading through the streets and park on people's property and deface their property and all these kinds of stuff, which has happened in some cases, well, they'll have to absorb the loss, because really, you need to have your flag day.
The numbers will show you that the problem is a serious one. But I've been advocating for years that you get a boat like the mail boat, which flies between here, Grand Bahama, and Florida. You probably cost you $1 million to buy one and fix it up. But does it make sense, any sense at all, to spend the country's money to put these people who come bundle up on a 40-foot sloop with 100 people on it, and there's no human rights problem when they're doing that. But the moment you try to do anything about that, then you hear the people from all over the world screaming, these do-gooders from all over the world screaming, and it seems like we bend over backwards to accommodate them. But Why send these people spending millions of dollars repatriating them, sending back to their homeland, and 2 or 3 weeks later they're back here? And if you put them on one of these same troop ships where they'll be back there in about 2 or 3 days, and with accommodations, then you'll hear the human rights people who don't live here and who have nothing to do with it, and some that live here screaming to high heaven that you're mistreating these people.
Yeah. Well, there are many among us who feel that way, but there's a right way to do anything, and there's a way to keep calm and peace in a country. And it has to do with a lot of intervention by the leaders of the country who happen to sit in the parliament and who happen to be legislators. We've just got to do what is in the best interest of the Bahamas. It's plain and simple.
Well,
if we can still remember what that is.
None of these governments, none, FNM, PLP, and whatever else in between, none of them have addressed these problems. They don't seem to care a damn about what we think, what we say, or what we do. They just go along aimlessly so long as they get their salaries and they can wear their three-piece suit. Everybody is happy. And the people, they can all go to hell in a handbasket.
I appreciate your sentiments, my friend. I've got to run to many calls on the line today. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Amen.
Absolutely. Hard copy. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, Steve.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm not too bad, Steve. But guess who was there at the Flag Day?
Who?
The CEO of BTC, talking about all the benefits that they receive from these people.
Well, there may be some economic benefit, but the truth is, a lot of people text me from last week, took exception to BTC promoting this promotion about promoting Flag Day. You see, this is where people don't understand what is happening, You see, it starts out small, and then it's commercialized by your national telephone carrier. It doesn't matter if they use BTC as a service, because a lot of them who are using BTC as a service are not legal in this country. End of story. So if we are just wanting to exploit things for money, then we deserve exactly what we get. No wonder why they feel so privileged that they can crease up and do what they're doing, because the national telephone company, BTC, which
I was so surprised
is fully sponsoring them.
I mean, these people have the audacity, the raise of flag.
Yeah, well, maybe Leon Williams knows more than we know.
Stephen, I want to say this. I hear these people talking about how proud they are, even some of those persons who claim they never visited Haiti. But they are so proud. What makes a person proud to be whatever nationality they are? What makes that person proud?
I don't know what.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out how come you're here and you're so proud to be a Haitian? I mean, I think if I say I'm proud to be a Bahamian, there's a reason why I'm proud to be a Bahamian.
See, there's a reason why there are people making this distinction as to who they are. I mean, we've had Haitian nationals in the Bahamas for quite a number of years. I mean, generations of them, and they have assimilated into being Bahamian. There's nothing wrong with that. They could assimilate into being just like an American can. But you see, there's a new cry in our country right now that they want to be recognized in the Bahamas as Haitians. It cannot be.
Steve,
either you are here as a Bahamian or you are not.
Steve, you know what I'm saying to you? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
I am saying to you, I heard Mr. What's his name? Dwayne Sand said some time ago when this policy was first being implemented. You know what he said?
What?
He said the PLP only doing this for political mileage or to calm some people down. Say, but you can see the real thing. You can understand that what they saying as a player, you can see that these people ain't serious. And I believe that because when this matter was first brought to the Bahamian people, I felt good about it. I felt that Minister Mitchell and the government was really getting serious about it. But then as it started to go on and you start to see where they start to hold back on a lot of things, even the people who are the children who are supposed to be in the school, and they're supposed to be laws that if you were in this country and you were not here illegal, you would have to go out of the country, show yourself to the embassy in your homeland, and then you would be considered for any other thing after that. And
Well,
when you look at it, and I agree with you, Steve, that has changed.
It has
the ball
changed.
game. You
It
can
has
be
changed.
here in this country now without going back there and so on and so forth. So, I say that the government has to get serious and to show the Bahamian people that they're serious.
I appreciate your
Thank you
call.
very much, Steve.
Yeah, you know something what is happening here that I just shared with you about the thousands of persons. I'm not going to call them Dominicans. Thousands of persons of Haitian heritage who were not straight in Dominican Republic, who were not straight with any status papers, even from Haiti, that they are now being deported. They're being now expelled. Now, let's consider that for 1 minute. Naturally, if they can go back to Haiti because they ain't got no paper and they can't stay around there and nobody wants to go there. Nobody. That's why people are running from it. Nobody wants to go there. Naturally, they can go there and they can stay in the Dominican Republic. What's the next natural home for illegals? That's not a rhetorical question, but you don't have the answer. What's the next natural home for the illegals? Well, if I was there as an illegal and a Haitian, they expelled me, and I can't go back to whom? And I hear about all the sweetness that happens where the grass is greener in the paradise called Nassau, Bahamas, or the Bahamas. I can try and make my way here because I consider myself a smart Haitian. Plus, my information, this is all hypothetical, my information is that they don't do you nothing. Even if they catch you and they send you back, you can still come back. Persistence will pay off. If at first you try to enter the country legal and you fail, nothing beats a failure except another try. You try and try again till you succeed. That's the story of the Bahamas. Anybody can dispute that? I mean, even Mitchell himself, as minister, says, just 6 weeks ago, we sent this family out. Now I'm walking around, I'm seeing them again. You remember when he lamented that fact last year, late? Yeah, they're going to come back. And they come back not only because it is good and we've been kind and compassionate, contrary to what everybody else was saying to the Americans the other day, that crew that went to them, despite what they were saying. The record would show that we are so loving, accommodating, Christian, compassionate, kind, tolerant, that they feel right at home coming here. But we are also a country of laws. And law and order must reign supreme. But because we don't have the gumption, we don't have the courage, we don't have the wherewithal, the know-how to deal with these things with some level of finesse, we suffer. And Lord knows, we cannot suffer much more with our misery index climbing the way it is in the area of economics, joblessness, stress, worry, anxiety. I mean, how much more can we take? And then to add to that, we have got people parading around in a teasing fashion for the most part about a Flag Day. And if they're legal, why? If they are if they have their citizenship in the Bahamas, if they are a part of us, why would they need to do that? That's the million-dollar question I need someone to answer for me today. Because it makes no sense unless there's an ulterior motive, unless there's an agenda. If I'm in America and I'm there straight, in no way I want to have a Bahamian day and I'm an American now. I then renounce. You see, you all only looking at one side. You've got to look at the whole picture of Article 7. It has a lot of ramifications. It goes deep, more deep than just that the child born of non-citizens of the Bahamas can apply at the age of 18. It goes beyond that. And if he applies and is granted permission to have a application for citizenship, then all other citizenships must be renounced. That's the requirement one. There are many other things. He cannot get citizenship if, in fact, he has been a lawbreaker, somebody who's caused insurrection, somebody who's been anti-sentiment of the people. But do we carry those things out? Do we really scrutinize that in giving citizenship? He cannot be legal and just certainly become legal. There's a process. Organizer said it. You can't be here illegal and stay here. You got to go out to come back in. If you're born here to non-citizens of the Bahamas and you never went out and you believe because you've been here a long time you're Bahamian, you're mistaken. It don't work so. And if you never went out to apply to your embassy to come in because you had registration in the Bahamas when you're born, you are illegal. But do you see the amount of children that was at this thing at the Botanical Gardens? The promise is great for those from the Haitian diaspora in the Bahamas. The promise is great. The future looks good. You see, we're building two cities here. We're building two countries. See, no matter which way you try to chop this, you will lose the argument. I'll tell you why. If you are here, born here and then got papers, and you out there saying that you have a National Haitian Flag Day, are you Bahamian? You have broken the law of renouncing. Oh, we have to think about this, you know. It's very, very serious. But then again, maybe you don't really care. Hard copy, how you doing? I'm listening. How are you? Hard copy, how are you? Hard copy, how are you? Wow. Hard copy, how are you?
Good evening, Mr. McKinney.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Reconciler?
Man, I'm good. And I'm glad you stuck in with the issues. And Mr. McKinney, I look in the newspaper today. Matter of fact, on the news last night, I think it was, and I saw that event with the Haitian Flag Day at the Botanical Gardens. And I was very upset from what I was seeing. I saw the chairman of the Botanical there and the Haitian ambassador carrying on like the best of friends in the world. Nothing wrong with that in this place, but what's behind all of this? That was the big question in my mind. And this man, Mr. Leon Williams, who I had good expectations for, that he would go to BTC as chairman, CEO, and look out for Bahamians. But since he went there, Bahamians, he says, just business when Bahamians are losing their jobs. By the droves, it's only business. That's his key phrase. Whereas he's supporting this Haitian Flag Day with Bahamian taxpayers' money, which to me is a great inconsistency. Mr. McKinney, I am not pleased with what's going on. The immigration thing that Mr. Mitchell, was doing. I wonder if that is being scuttled. They were supposed to go into Abaco, in January?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard anything that they went into the mud or the pigeons and did anything there.
So,
it seems as if it's went off the radar.
Soon come, soon go.
Mr. McKinney, what I'm saying is that we, as the people of the Bahamas, in any country, when you have someone ascribing to another flag in your country, that is treasonous.
Well, why don't the guys from the Middle East who have allegedly hacked our website, why don't they just get together and start raising their flags and having their Flag Day? I mean, why don't they do that? They're here. Some of them are here.
But see, the thing is, you remember you was talking about the fifth column some months ago?
Yep.
The fifth columns are here. They always been here. And they're getting ready to come out in full force. Now, we know the history in the 1920s, the Spanish revolutionist, he came with this thing with the fifth column, and, he said, well, I could bring 4 columns with me. And inside the city, there is a fifth column. That's the one who, I would, when they come, everything will just go on as we plan it to be. So the thing is, Brother McKinney, see, successive governments are using this for their political advantage. That's all in their mind. Politics, the woke, the block votes. I saw those Haitians out there, some of them out there back turned to the camera. You saw in the paper this morning, Mr. McKinney?
I saw it all weekend long.
Yeah, so how they're lying off, how they're back turned to the camera, blatant disrespect in a sovereign country. This kind of activity cannot and must not be tolerated, and all right-thinking behaviors must come against this kind of thing. Have a good day, Brother McKinney.
I appreciate your call. Let's be fair. Let us be fair. You know, I'm a fair man. The people who had their backs to the camera didn't deliberately turn their backs to the camera. That's the protection from the Fourth Estate. Can I say it again? The Haitian nationals who were out there with their Haitian flag, I have to call them that because they were not Bahamians. They have renounced the Bahamas. They have a Haitian flag day, and that's what they're attending. So I assume that these are not Bahamians. These are Haitians in our country. They didn't come here on a visit. There were too many little children. They live here. But they ascribe to their home country in our home country. It wasn't them who turned their backs on the camera. Unless there was a deliberate act when they saw the camera, they turned their back. I didn't see that. I saw still photographs. I can tell you that the media of the Bahamas, who are very, very, very geared toward the Haitian people, did their thing by shooting pictures from the background like that, as not to show any faces. Except for there was this big guy who had on the shirt that says, "Yes, I am one of them too." Provocative, isn't it? What does that mean? But you see, that's done so that in that section of the media that is perpetrating this idea that their time soon come for a takeover. See, that was written in the Nassau Guardian. That was an editorial in the Nassau Guardian. Okay? They offered some level of protection. The print paper. They offered that by, well, you don't want their faces to be seen because, you know, that's what they did. My guess. I'd be surprised if I'm wrong about that. So I don't say that they turned their backs to the camera. They're proud. If they weren't proud to be Haitian nationals, they wouldn't be there with their flags. Get that. They weren't sneaking. If they were sneaking, then we really have a problem. It means that they fully Haitian on Flag Day, and on the rest of the days, they're pretend Bahamians. I don't want to think that. It is just a situation to make us look and see what we are dealing with. Don't get mad. Don't get offended. Don't get hurt. The bottom line is we are seeing the reality of what is happening. Yet we are impotent. We can't move. We are paralyzed to do anything about it from a leadership point of view because we are compromised. A compromised fella in authority has no say. He has to sit small and shut up before he's exposed. So we are compromised. And that's why we are paralyzed. And that's why we come off impotent to do anything about it. My view. What's your view? Hard copy, how are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. McKinney.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Right, good show, good show. I have a question for you in particular. This is related to the Haitian national primarily. I know we have other immigrants here. But my question is, since we've over the years provided education, medical care, social service assistance to the Haitian community, what have they done in return to express their gratitude towards the Haitian people?
I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe their gratitude has been that they've behaved themselves and they've, you know, decided to let us coexist. because if there are more of them than us, they can do anything they feel like doing, especially if they want to have a Flag Day and they just can do it. I mean, you understand the vulnerabilities there.
My goodness. See, that's my side of it exactly. There's nothing of substance that we can legitimately say they have done for us to say, oh, yes, it was good that we went all out to be helping them. Now, what I've seen, over a period of time was the ingratitude, because in terms of when the Haitian guy, the Georges guy, along with some other misguided Bahamians went to OAS, Amnesty International, to Washington to complain and criticize the Bahamian sovereignty. It's almost like, we can't make policies for our own country to protect our own sovereignty. And as a matter of fact, I was in Western Union the other day, and I noticed they had this billboard up about promoting the Haitian Flag Day. And, it raised the question because, you see a lot of persons who, are of other nationalities. There are a lot of Haitians, Jamaicans, and a lot of them, we all know, are not legal here. And they're sending the money out of the country. In return, that's draining our economy. My thing is, I wonder why, maybe you can answer this question, why isn't the Immigration Department targeting those places?
I don't know.
Persons are going to go to be sending money out of the country or receiving monies in.
Good question. I appreciate your call. Good question. You see, there's so many things that have changed in recent times. The policy universally that's respected and that's expected to be adhered to by the Amnesty International and the Human Rights Associations, because they have a role to play. And one of the things that we have done as a country, signing on to certain conventions of the United Nations, has been that we don't go into certain areas to do repatriation, roundup exercises. We don't do that. Church is one of them. Hospital is another one of them. Schools are one of them. These are three areas of a critical concern to the international agencies. You don't go and you don't go into church. These are places of refuge. You don't go into the school and you don't go into the hospital. So we have adhered to those things quite realistically, and we follow right through to the T that we don't do that. But I don't know if there's any rules, unless they've just made them, that says that you can go to areas where they are sending monies back out, and they're illegals, because those places are places of commerce. And once a person has some kind of paper with identification to send monies out, hey, that's what it is. But only the Immigration Department and those involved in keeping this country peaceful and free of illegals are able to say and do and go to those areas to do their jobs. It's not an easy job, but we expect the job to be done as citizens of the Bahamas. If we can't control these numbers, friends, it's only a matter of time before the numbers get to a level where they're definitely going to be uncontrollable. And we have to do something as drastic as the Dominican Republic. We may be there now. We don't know. Our Department of Statistics have been giving us numbers every year of about 350, 375,000. I'm sure we're over 400,000, close to 500,000, maybe over 500,000 in a population right now. But, we don't know. Populations could grow overnight because of migration. And with the expulsion of these people from the Dominican Republic, we have to be concerned about that. We should have been concerned from the time that we had the earthquake, that they had to find someplace else to go because of the dilapidated situation that they find themselves in. And all of us sympathize with it. But I was reading where Beyonce Knowles, superstar, beautiful artist, excuse me, is headed off to Haiti right now to see what has become of monies that were raised since the earthquake. She wants to get a tour as to what the place looks like and how it's hopefully recovering now. But you know what? She just had to Google, go online. She didn't have to travel. because it almost is worse than it was when they had the earthquake. It's been no real movement of improvement. There's been no real movement to clean up the place. I mean, there's been no accountability of monies that went there from these major concerts that the world poured into. That has to do with leadership or lack thereof. That has to do with lack of follow through by all those artists around the United States, around the world, who pumped this money into trying to bring relief to Haiti. Yet the people are running in great numbers. There's no sustainability of most things. And we catching hell for it. So when there's heavy migration from down south, we are right in the path of the flight. We can't help that from our geography. God gave us this area here. We better take care of it. That's all I'm saying. And there's a way to take care of it. We can coexist, we can work together, but that's calling for unity. How can you call for unity on one side of your mouth and you doing something on the other side of your mouth? And you want me to be convinced and me to just sit small and say, don't worry, but it'll work itself out? No, sir. The new generation of the Bahamas knows it can't just work itself out. It has to have some effort behind it by those who sit in the seat of power. Those in the church, those in the government, those in the social standing, those in the communities, those who want to really build. It can't happen just so, and it won't happen just so. What we have now is a preponderance of a bunch of all kinds of we can do that later tactics that has gotten us to here now, where we are with an abundance of people that we don't know where they are, where they come from, who they are. This is all delayed. Man, we can get to that. Man, we can get to that. Man, we can get to that. Decade after decade. To this point now, you believe in all these 60 plus 6, 7, 8 decades that we only got 75,000 people, between 35 and 75,000 people on any given day moving through. Psh, I'd copy. How are you?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. McKinney.
How you doing today?
Everything good there as well, sir?
All as well.
Mr. McKinney, I am enjoying the show. I must say that, to be honest with you, the kind of laws that we have is really landing in the human smuggling.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching ZNS, and I saw the thing on ZNS where they showed the Haitian flag, and Dupuy George stated that Haitians that are not behemoths as yet will be behemoths. Or finally made.
I can't hear you clearly. You talking into the phone?
Hello?
I can't hear you clearly. What are you saying?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Hello?
I can hear you. Please speak.
Oh, what I was saying is I watched ZNS on the weekend, and I actually saw where, Dupuy George stated that the Haitians that were not yet behemoths will become behemoths. And I really thought to myself, I said, the laws that we have right now is antiquated. These laws lend the human smuggling, because if you could come in a country one day and have children and they become behemoths, well, then I think that's a big issue.
Yeah, well, Louis George sounds good talking by himself, and especially since there don't seem to be any counter comments being made by those who know better and those who are in authority. If you're in authority, you run the country, you ought to speak up and bring clarity to certain matters, because there's a lot of misunderstanding out there as to what happens. And there are people with agendas who will perpetrate misinformation so they can be all mixed up and confused. We know the story, but still, it is left to those in charge of our country to step up to the plate and do their jobs.
Mr. McKinney, you know what I think Fred Mitchell should do? He should now put the second stage of the plan, where we have to understand that right now at this point, the Prime Minister is head of CARICOM. We have to really and truly understand how we need to work this. Haiti right now is a destabilized country. How then can you have almost over millions of dollars, almost $100 million going to Haiti?
Listen, my friend, what you say makes a lot of sense to me and to many others who are listening. It doesn't make sense to those who run the show, because I'll tell you, we just hosted CARICOM here. And I asked Paiswell Forbes, the representative of CARICOM for the Bahamas at this level in the Caribbean, If they were going to bring this up in any discussion, since this is a unique problem to the Bahamas, I asked them right on this show, are you going to bring this up? And I recommend that you bring it up because it's a problem that we have. CARICOM has not been checking for this problem for umpteen years. It's because they don't suffer the fate of them coming to their territories and cashing in on their economy. They're not interested. But Prime Minister Christie now is the chair of CARICOM. And this should be number one on the agenda, because one of the things that we do need through CARICOM is relief. We need participation from the other CARICOM bodies to help bring relief to our dire situation. But no one is talking. It doesn't seem to be any major thing on the agenda for Mr. Christie at the CARICOM level, and it wasn't discussed at the recent CARICOM meeting. Nothing.
And the funny thing is, I don't think CARICOM is serious, because Dominican Republic, I don't think they're in CARICOM. They may be associated with it, but they ain't in it. And at this point, they willing to kick the people of their country. I think it's time that as we make sanctions where we should not allow them to send any money no more.
No. See, that's just the trick. This is what the problem is. And that's why it's a CARICOM problem in the region, that anybody sending monies out of the country, the kind of monies that's leaving our shores, okay, busting down the economy, okay, can't stimulate you, because too much money is going out. If you look at, not only the Haitians are sending out millions of dollars a year, but you look at the Peruvians and the Colombians and everybody else who's there, they're all sending money out. The Africans, everybody is sending monies out.
But they're shipping people back, and that's the problem. People back by the funds. We are allowing a destabilized country to ship illegal people to smuggle in our country.
Well, you're right about that, and there's something we've got to do. I don't know what we're going to do. Thanks for your call. I think that in itself is a dilemma. Mitchell is concerned about it. He's expressed that. But maybe many of his other colleagues are not that concerned, because I don't hear anybody screaming about it. Nobody's screaming about it, except we talk about it periodically on the shows, because certain things that happen is offensive to the Bahamian people, to those of us who have helped to build this country and who belong here. You know, it's like people coming into your home uninvited and going into your refrigerator and taking out the best of it, and whatever they leave, if you want it, you want it. If you ain't want it, it's your business. That's what you got to look at it as. Not only are they eating their fill, they're taking some of the ham and turkey and sending it out too. What you supposed to eat in your house? These uninvited guests have done this. And you ain't mind enough to say, hey, what you think you're doing? That's what this equates to, you know. The Bahamas is our house. The uninvited guests is those who come illegally. They have no papers. They could care less. They come right into your house and they feed on the fat of your land, your ham and turkey. And what they can't eat, they send out. Well, if you don't see that to be something egregious, then you just don't know no better. And they should take advantage of you. Plain and simple. Let's run to the break. It's 6:28. I'm coming back in a minute. You can call me. I've got calls on the line. Don't go. We're only going to be for a minute on a break. And when I come back, I take your calls is not a priority. I only ask a question today. What should we do? Don't we feel that we are part of this serious misery index where we're not so happy as a people? Mixed messages we're sending on this whole matter of migration and the illegal migrant problem. Mixed messages. Are we to believe that the Bahamas is for Bahamians? What are we to believe? Who are we building this for? What's this all about? What are we working so hard for? For somebody else? I would like to think that we're working hard for the future of our children. But boy, that may be on the back burner at the rate that we are going. And there is no word really on this matter from those who ought to know better. Back in a minute. This is Hard Copy.
The best insurance in town is Advantage Insurance on Collins Avenue. They are simply the best because they provide easy, affordable insurance rates for home, car, business, or whatever is valuable or important to you. Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue, is the fastest, most progressive insurance company in the Bahamas because they really take care of you by making insurance totally affordable. Call them now at 356-0285 or 6, or email them at info@advantagebahamas.com.
Are you a holder of a bachelor's degree? Are you in the job market looking for employment? Listen up. The Department of Labor is urging Bahamians with a bachelor's degree in any and all professions to move now and register with the department at its Clarence Bean Building or Robinson Road office or any of the family of islands. Don't hesitate. Bachelor's degree holders, register today without delay, whether you are employed or unemployed. For more information, contact the Department of Labor at 302-2550 or 302-2562.
The Bahamas experienced record heat in April. Well, it's staying hot in May at Super Value and Quality supermarkets with sizzling savings like Carno Cream, the large can, 99 cents. Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice, 60-ounce can, $4.99. Vitamol Tonic, the can or bottle, the 12-ounce size, 99 cents. Value Time Foam Plate, the 40 count, $1.69. Chicken leg quarters, the 10-pound bag, 89 cents per pound. All that and more at Super Value and Quality supermarkets, your Bahamian supermarkets.
The choices we make can make us, like who we turn to for investment and retirement advice. Choosing CFAL means having a trusted advisor on your side, helping you build wealth and meet your financial goals. We manage pension assets for businesses and offer individual plans to help you design a secure retirement. We can provide brokerage services and comprehensive research support for clients needing a little more investment guidance. CFAL can help you build a portfolio you can be proud of. Visit us at cfal.com. CFAL sees your future.
At Henry F. Store Electric Company, we supply all your electrical needs for any size project, from residential housing to luxury hotels. We can help you achieve just the right look, from doorbells to chandeliers, table lamps to ceiling fans, wire, conduit, panels, dimmers, switches, plugs, and even tools. And don't forget light bulbs. We have those hard-to-find, energy-saving fluorescent bulbs and more. Henry F. Store Electric, number 135 Matthew Street. Over 50 years of reliability, service, and low prices. We also ship to the Family Islands.
There's no other talk show like the show. If it's 5 o'clock, it's Hard Copy.
Welcome back. This is Hard Copy. Thank you for holding the line. 325-0235 or 6, 325-0242 or 43, 325-0252 or 53. This is really about bringing to the attention of those in the Bahamas who are in charge of the country. And that may be religious leaders as well as politicians, as well as civic-minded leaders, that we have a little problem here that you all do not want to nip in the bud. We are playing as if we don't see it, but it's in plain sight. And there are some among us who have decided that they're going to push the envelope because they want to get what they want, whatever that is. I don't know what it is, because I thought that we were a fair country, that if you come and you apply and you got your citizenship, that you're Bahamian. That's the premise I'm coming from today. If anybody else knows any other premise, please call me. Because if that's the premise that we're operating on in this country, that's a sovereign country, an independent sovereign country with its own people, and we have others inside it who are raising flags and carrying on with what they want to carry on about, and then I'm convinced that we have a country, two countries in one country. That's what I'm convinced. And it doesn't take long for me to go back in my, what I would call my ashtray, where, you know, I want to reject some things and don't even think about it. I can go back to that ashtray and look at the trend of Martelli coming here and talking to some people and getting them all riled up about politics and all that. I can go back in my mind and hear Fred Smith in Grand Bahama, yes, the QC, talking about it's time for us to have our own party. In Grand Bahama, I don't know who he's talking to, but these are his statements that, you know, we need to have our own party. We've got to do something. There seem to be people who are a little bit now to the point where they want to do and assert themselves. And there's nothing wrong with having an ambition to assert yourselves as long as it's about the positivity of building a country. But what it looks like is happening is that we've got another group of people who want to build their own country within our country, and we must sit back and say nothing. Well, you can't expect that to happen. And that's why I asked the question today, you know, who are we governing for? What's this really all about? What's the future going to look like? I said the other day, you give them an inch, they take a mile. Anybody who you give an inch, they will take a mile, because if you look like you're too particular, then people will do what they got to do. All I'm saying here is that if this thing about this Flag Day that's been offensive and egregious to a lot of Bahamians over the years continues to multiply to the point where it's getting the national coverage and attention with another flag in this country, we've got to look at that. That cannot be right. You don't have to agree with me. I hold my point. It cannot be right. But it is happening because of a lackadaisical, laissez-faire attitude among those in the governance of this country. You have to rest it there, because everything operates from there. That's what I'm saying. Am I saying anything wrong? Please call me. You could disagree. I'm listening to you. I think it's important for us to have good dialogue. You see, but you can't tell me that you want to build a country and you want to be accepted, but you are doing other things in the country there you want to be accepted that's foreign to the country where you want to be accepted. You can't have it both ways. Hard copy, how are you?
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. McKinney. How are you doing? First time caller here.
Welcome. I appreciate your call. How you doing?
One question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which set of children born in the Bahamas require to get the belongers permit?
You asking me?
Which set of children born in the Bahamas require to get the belongers permit?
All the children who have been born in the Bahamas.
Yeah, the children born in the Bahamas
Yeah.
of Jamaican parents.
Yes.
And Haitian parents.
Yes, and Cuban parents.
Certificate of identity.
Yep.
Which set of them requires to get the belongers permit?
I don't know the answer to your question, because I'm not so sure of you asking me if these people who are here are legal.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about people who are legal here by parents who in fact came here on work permits, who had a residency permit. What are you talking about?
Example, I have a permanent residence living in the Bahamas.
Yes.
My daughter came to me,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually she has a baby in the Bahamas.
Yep.
I send my daughter back home to Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
but I keep my granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
I have a certificate of identity for her.
Yep.
The certificate of identity is not gonna over until 2016.
Yep.
The Bahamian immigration said you have all them children have to use the Jamaican passport.
Yep.
But when I go to Jamaica, Mr. McKinney, I seek and I find out. In Jamaica, say you have to first apply for Jamaican citizenship.
Yep.
First for them, the children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's in order. That's what I'm saying.
I apply for the belongers permit because I is the legal guardian for the child.
No, but see, that's just it. The child still has to be registered. Do you understand? That is what is happening here. That's where.
I have the child. She has a Bahamian birth certificate.
Yeah.
With the certificate of identity.
Right.
But the immigration said you got to put in for a belongers permit. I applied for the belongers permit from November last year.
Right.
Now is May.
Mm-hmm.
And the belongers permit still don't ready.
Yeah, well, it's a process. I don't know how long it takes.
And they said they don't know when it get ready.
Yeah, but the good thing is that you applied.
Yes, sir.
And the good thing is that you now have a certificate, a slip that says you applied.
Yes, sir.
Well,
I have the receipt.
Yes, that's important.
But now they said the children have to have their belongers permit to go to school when school closed.
No, they will have a permit. That's not the belongers permit. They will have a permit. That's a special permit that they will get from immigration to say that they have a right to go to school in the Bahamas because they have been so registered.
I just go there last week and the belongers permit is not ready.
Yeah.
And they said they don't know when it gets ready.
Yeah, but what you're getting mixed up with, ma'am, is this.
Yes,
that
sir.
the permit that you need for the baby, for the little granddaughter that you have,
Yes, sir.
to go to school, right? That's a permit that
I'm the legal guardian for her.
Right. Right. You're the legal guardian, and you are here as a resident. You are a citizen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are a citizen of the Bahamas, right? No, you're just a permanent resident.
Then permanent resident,
Right.
not citizen. Permanent
Yeah,
resident.
understood. Now, if you have made the application for that child
Yes, sir.
that you are the guardian of
Yes,
to
sir.
be able to go to school here, they will give you a student permit for that student to go to school. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
I ain't get you, Mr. McKinney. What did you say just now?
Yeah, I said that you will have to get a permit once that child goes to the Department of Immigration. Okay?
He already take her there
but
with the
you- but-
and get.
Yeah, but you apply for a belongers permit. So I'm saying to you, there's a special permit for the students who are here, who are born to parents who are illegal in the Bahamas and who have no status in the Bahamas. But
Yes,
they,
but she has a certificate of identity passport.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. She's fine. She can go to school. She has a. If they were to stop her, she has that. You show that. That's what I'm saying to you.
But the immigration said they no longer accepting them.
Yeah, they no longer accept them up to a point. As long as she has that, and they tell you that that doesn't expire until 2016, that is what she has, or the child if it's a boy. But I'm saying to you,
Well, that's a girl.
yeah, it's a girl. Okay,
Yes,
I don't think that you have any problem, ma'am. You are concerned about your belongers permit. I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do?
Yes, sir.
Listen, man, I'm going to bring somebody in from the Department of Immigration
Yes, sir.
to go through the entire way of how it's going
Yes,
to
sir.
work in the interim.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do that. Stand by for it between now and next week, Wednesday.
Because, Mr. McKinney,
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Jamaica, right? And I seek because the immigration said apply for the Jamaican passport.
Right.
But you cannot apply for a Jamaican passport with a Bahamian birth certificate unless you apply for the Jamaican citizens first. That's the procedure in Jamaica.
Mm. Well, I don't know the procedure too much in Jamaica, but I'll find out for
I'm telling
you.
you because I go out there and I seek and find out.
Yeah, but I'm
And they give me the form.
the child of your daughter. You say this is the child of your daughter, right?
Sir, but my daughter lives in Jamaica, but
Yeah.
I keep the daughter.
Yeah, but see, that's a gray area for me because what I'm saying is that your daughter in Jamaica is her parent, is her mom.
Sir, but
And-
I
and
is
she-
the
and if-
legal guardian for her.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
Because the judge give me the thing to say I'm the legal guardian for her.
Right, okay,
Because my daughter lives in Jamaica.
I understand. And your baby, your granddaughter baby is here, and
Yes, sir.
she's your.
I keep her so she could go to school here.
I understand. I understand. Well, listen, let me find out more. I promise to get back to you because it's a gray area for me based upon what you're saying. You're the legal guardian. You're not the mom. You're not the biological mom. There's a gray area here for me. Let me find out for you, okay?
Okay, sir. Thanks, Mr. McConney.
Thank
Good
you.
show.
Thank you very much.
I
Okay.
listen every day.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yeah, it sounds, and if somebody in immigration who's listening can give me clarity on that because she seems to have a unique case here. Because I know about this whole thing about being the legal guardian of a child. Okay. And I know that that can be a gray area if, thank God, that the child that I'm a legal guardian is also a Bahamian. See the point? But you're dealing with something else of somebody who's a resident, okay, permanent resident, who wants to take custody of a child because perhaps she can take care of the child. Maybe the mother couldn't. But that should not stop her from having the child go to school based upon the documentation that she now has. And that's one of the reasons why all of these things has to be registered so that we can be fair in our immigration policies to allow for youngsters to go to school under the Universal Declaration of the United Nations that they have a right to go to school. But there's a matter of registration so that we can know who is who in this country. And that's all the minister has been trying to say from Jump Street, November the 4th, or November the 1st of 2014. But let's leave that for a bit. Let me get back to that. But if there's somebody out there who understands that particular scenario from the immigration department, you can call me. Hard copy, how are you? Hi there. Okay. Hard copy, are you there?
Hello, Steve.
Hi there.
That sounds like a sticky wicket.
Yeah, it is. It is a unique situation.
She's not the mother, and the mother's in Jamaica.
And the mother's in Jamaica.
Got sent back.
Right. It may have been a deportation. I don't know. That's why I'm leaving it that way. So you leave it alone.
All right. All right. Steve, did you notice though? This year was toned down.
This year was what?
This year Flag Day.
Oh yeah, I was telling you earlier that the policemen had been basically, you know, they see the government knows that this is an egregious matter that happens. They know that. So they prepare themselves by quietly telling some other people in the armed forces what to do, including immigration. Immigration didn't pick up a single person on Saturday.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you notice like the flags on the cars?
Yes.
Was it so? I saw a lot of people flying 2 flags.
Well,
they
must be caught between 2 cities.
I'm saying, but remember, Steve, what you do is how you do it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Greek Holiday Festival, right?
Yeah.
But they have learned to be socialized with it, and you know, they're more Bahamian than us, anyhow. They're Bahamian, but they celebrate their ancestry.
Yes, it's they don't have a Greek flag day, you know. They don't have that.
I mean, not a flag, not a food day. Big food festival.
Yes, what I'm saying. They have a big food festival of the. See, that's culture. That's the cuisine and the culture.
Yeah.
And that's appreciated, and we all get to learn each other, and we don't feel any hostilities. We feel as if, you know, this is what we do, because there are many great Greek Bahamians. In fact, the Greeks, like the Haitian nationals, have helped to build this country in many regards. So that's not the question. The question is, why would a country, why would a nationality of people in a country sovereign with its own flag want to be, I suppose, doing something else contrary to what is accepted? Why would you want to do that? Unless you want confrontation, or you're trying to send a message, or you're trying to say something. What's that all about?
When
doesn't make sense.
Don't set no parameters, you see? We let people run wild in our yard.
Yeah.
So we don't set no boundaries. We don't set no rules. And they don't know the flag of the man flag in your country is offensive, especially on the outside.
Yeah.
They don't know that. They don't know, like Louis Ortiz went to the U.S. They don't, Bush, under the Congress, set up a company, a department called ICE.
Yeah.
They goes in the middle of the night and kick anybody down illegal and drag them to the cap.
Yeah, yeah.
In the U.S. supports more people than anybody else in the world. Anybody illegal must leave the U.S. Anybody who listen right now, Google ICE. They was doing director. They have a mandate to rid America of all illegals. So you cannot go there and be perpetrated, Steve.
Yeah, I agree with you, but you know, it is how we accept the governance of our country. See, some people believe that this has nothing to do with that. This is just something that's happened, and we have to try to bring some things in order. That's how you run a country. A country is based on order. I mean, we take our example from the Lord Jesus, from the whole way that things are set up in the kingdom. The whole thing is that there's order.
Yes.
He's a God of order. Order. You have to bring order.
Ain't nobody flying and going to Miami with the boat loads. Once you hit that public street, everybody must have ID.
Yeah, well, you know.
Once the police stop you, you don't have ID, you go in, they're going to take your fingerprint.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your call, man. I've got to run lots of calls on the line, and we've had a situation where somebody was here working with a work permit, did not have his ID on him, did not have his permit on him, and the police took him. You remember that case when Ryan Pinder went and apologized for this guy from UBS? I mean, he was a big, legitimate bank boss, and the immigration department did their job. Fred Mitchell supported his immigration fellas, and Fred Mitchell sits in the same cabinet used to sit in the same cabinet with Ryan Pinder before Ryan Pinder got out of town. But the fact is, Ryan Pinder had apologized to this guy for being picked up by his own government that was carrying out the law. See, we have too much different things happening here. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. We have to have one law for everybody, not kisses go by favor. The cabinet of the Bahamas ought to support Fred Mitchell with all their heart and soul. I believe that Mitchell had a chance to do exactly what he knows is in his best interest to do, and is in his spirit to do, and is in his conscience to do. We'd have a great country, almost free of these problems. But Mitchell has lamented time and time again that when he begins this process, there's always the repercussion of those who pull the purse strings, who say, look, hey, leave my own alone. It's a vexing matter. And maybe our end is going to be by having an abundance of them, sending a strong message to us that, look, if we feel like it, we do what we want. Maybe we have to see that to get the message. But it surely is dangerous. And America is not pleased with it. It could be any number of people here in this country that we don't know. We don't know who they are. We had 2 jailbreaks since the quake. They caught some. They didn't catch all. We've got all kinds of people who are on those wanted lists here from that territory. Now, the Dominican Republic has decided to bring the reality. They say, look, today you will wake up without what? Citizenship, because the reality is that, you know, you ain't got no papers, you ain't got no status, and we send you home. That's how much the numbers are, how big they are. We seem to be fooling ourselves in the Bahamas that the numbers are very minuscule, still small. After 6, 7 decades of the same thing, 8 decades even, we're saying, no, the numbers are small. The numbers used to be small many decades ago. The numbers have improved and increased tremendously over the last 5 decades, growing exponentially. The numbers have. Only us want to fool ourselves that, no, that ain't so. Even our own Department of Statistics, they don't ask you when they're doing these household surveys and all that stuff. They don't ask you your nationality. They don't. They say that ain't important. So as far as they're concerned, everybody who live in there is one people. Hard copy, how are you?
Hi, good day, Dave.
Yes, sir.
The lady that called a few minutes ago.
Yes. The Jamaican lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is happening is Jamaica is realizing there's a, we use the term here, anchor family.
Yeah, the Anchor Baby Project.
Yes, where a family member comes to the Bahamas, establishes themselves, and kind of adopts the child of the niece, the nephew, the daughter, whomever, and assimilates them in the Bahamas as they are being the guardians. And so the child gets Bahamian status. Jamaica has realized that. And so the child now going back to Jamaica, Jamaica realizes this is not the parent. The parent, the child really should have Jamaican status from the parent.
From the parent, that's correct.
And they are requiring that that child get a Jamaican passport or apply for it to enter.
Right.
Now, the child will have to do it from here because they've established a position here for the child.
I see.
And that's the reasoning the Jamaican authorities are asking that. They are one step ahead of us. We haven't realized it yet, or we don't want to do anything about it yet. But it's prevalent in all of the different immigrant groups. The Filipinos,
the Anchor Baby Project. That's what you call it.
They all do it.
The Mexicans do it. Everybody does it.
Children for vacation, and then they tend to stay and get a job, and they get regularized, and that's it.
My Lord.
But that's just the input on that.
I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. Gives me a lot to look into.
Okay.
Thank you very much. That's interesting. Yeah, migration is a serious thing. Look like only us get the news late. We get the news late about how you migrate. Hard copy, how are you?
Yes, a pleasure and good evening, Mr. McKinney.
Yes,
Mr. McKinney, as always, you on top of things, as usual. However, I just hope that the powers that be are actually tuning in and see the magnitude of problems that are being flashed out through your talk show.
We're about building a country. We want to build. That's what the whole idea is. We want to build a country, and we've got to have these diverse ideas. And
not only that, Mr. McKinney, it shows patriotism. It shows that, guess what? We are all concerned of how this country is being built.
Yes, sir.
And we as Bahamians need to realize that, guess what? The the migration that comes into this country are economic migrants. All right, and their government support their move because why? They send their funds back home.
Yes, sir.
And so you think any government that wants hard currency is going to prevent their people from leaving their home to come to a place where they know at the end of the day, you getting the money coming back home.
And that's something.
And most of the time it's in US dollars.
That's correct. Now, I'm glad you brought it up because I was about to say to you that if you can go to any little store now and find US dollars in any regular store like you used to find, I'd give you $100. You know something? We can't. You
Mr.
just
McKinney,
one
I
time you
can
can
shake
just
your
go
hand
to
on that.
any store and just say, "Give us some US again away tomorrow." That can't happen nowhere in the interior of this town no more. You got to go to the central bank. You know why? Because any little thing would look like American quarter, 10 cents, 5 cents, $1. That gone down south.
Exactly.
By the Filipinos, by the Africans, by the Haitians, by everybody. It's gone.
And you know what they do? What most of the time, what they're doing, they're using the same system to work against the government. And what am I saying? They get business license. They're able to open up U.S. accounts. All right. So therefore, they could transfer funds from B dollars to U.S. dollars.
Yes, sir.
And then transfer it out of the country. Because why? They know at the end of the day, even if they use marriages of convenience to do so, to
Another
get that
sore
business
topic.
license, and which most of the time Bahamians aid and abet. All right? And once they have already established the person, and you know what happened? They get kicked and
Kick to the curb.
Below it.
No longer needed. No longer
so,
needed.
Mr. McKinney, like I would say to you, keep your hand on the pulse. Keep continuing to educate and inform the powers that be. See, being in Parliament don't mean you have all the answers.
Absolutely.
Because for the most part, you only get filtered information, but when you are in your capacity, you get the raw data.
Yeah. You decide for yourself. I'm not telling anybody. I'm saying this is where our case is. Let's talk about it. What do you think about a country that's allowing two flags to be in a country when I've told you and I'm giving you Miles Monroe's statements? They all know that this is not a good thing. It cannot work.
But you know what the biggest problem is, you know, Mr. McKinney, and I am going to stick my neck out on a limb. If most of those persons at times, and this is what is alleged, will not have a zipper problem when it comes to using the immigrants for their pleasure, then they would be able to ensure that the borders are protected.
I know exactly what you're
At
saying.
times, that's what it boils down to.
I agree with you. I appreciate your call, my brother.
Okay, take care, Mr. McKinney.
All the best now. Great. 325-023-546. I've got a couple of minutes. We may go a little over time because I've got an abundance of calls on the line. Let's see if we can clear them up. Hard copy. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good evening, Mr. McKinney. How are you today?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm fine. Thank you very much.
You make my day. Anytime you speak about the Haitian issue, I mean, you give me the ability to strive. Flag Day, sir, is a way of representing Haiti as the first nation that took independence for the world.
Yep.
So when the Haitians do celebrate Flag Day, it's not only for us living in the Bahamas. The whole entire world celebrates. Wherever Haitians are, they celebrate Flag Day. It's because we opened the eyes of the slaves that made you today sit behind the desk you are today.
I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Did I say thank you very much?
It is nothing to say that you're going to take over. There is nothing to take over, sir. You see, as a Bahamian of Haitian descent, I am so proud to be a Haitian because you know why? It gives me the ability to strive. It makes me think of who I am. And it says, don't settle for anything.
No matter where you are.
No matter where you are, because at the end of the day, we fought for the eyes of the world to open up.
I see.
Do you understand? So them going out there, and you know, the Bahamian people knows this, you know, because there were a time when after all of that fighting and all of those things, the Haiti had to.
We had trade with Haiti.
Haiti called. I had a lady.
We still got trade with Haiti.
What contributions that the Haitians did? We're gonna come out with that, as of next year. We're gonna do educational to show you the contributions that the Haitians did in this country, like any other nationality.
I hear you. Can I ask you a question now?
Yes.
You say that you do this because you want to feel proud. Wherever you are, this is what you do. Fine.
Wherever.
Okay, good. Now.
It's in the blood, sir.
Yeah, I hear you.
Just like when it's in the blood.
I know what you mean when something is in the blood. There are many things in the blood.
All right.
There are many things in the blood.
It means to you to be a Haitian.
Well, listen, there's nothing.
Mr. McKinney, it tells you there's a meaning to this.
Yes, there's a meaning of being Bahamian too.
I don't know it yet because you haven't shown it to me.
Well, listen, if you watch and you see, you will see it.
You haven't. No, you haven't.
You say you are a Bahamian of Haitian descent, but you said that you are Haitian and it's in the blood. Yes, I hear you, and you say
you're not, Mr. McKinney. You're not teaching me.
No, I don't want to teach you. You can't learn from what I'm saying because you have your mind made up. What I'm telling you today is that what is happening here with your Haitian Flag Day that has been
it wasn't the Haitian Flag Day. It was the World Flag Day.
No. Well, that's what you say. In the Bahamas, it was the Haitian Flag Day. All right.
World, because we open your eyes.
No. You ain't opened my eyes. I'm trying to show you something.
It wasn't for Haiti today. You wouldn't have been sitting there because you still would have been under the slaves.
Yeah. Well, if that's what a fool believes, then you go right ahead.
That's history.
You listen.
Right? And we're going to continue on celebrating it. And then I heard
of course.
About BTC.
Of course, you're going to continue on celebrating it because you are, ma'am, right now, what you're saying is egregious to the Bahamian people, But you don't care. You don't give a damn about it because yes, and we don't care what you think either.
No, listen, why? You're the only country. You're the only country in the world that has a problem with Flag Day.
No, we have a problem with the way it's done in the Bahamas.
You're the only country.
Well, that's fine. Well, then maybe you should go to the other countries that don't have a problem with it.
I'm not going anywhere.
I know you're not going anywhere because you're bad like that, because that's in your blood.
Hey, you have something personal with the Haitians,
No, I don't.
Because, yes, you do. Because
Now you tell me.
I guess you're getting a rating. But
No.
there's nobody else that's making noise.
Oh, you are so wrong, ma'am.
Yes, it is.
You are so wrong that there's nobody making noise. You have not heard it. You have a problem. You have a problem that you have a problem. You have a problem that Bahamians in the Bahamas take exception to what you do, and you're biggity. And while you say you're a Bahamian of Haitian descent, you say you celebrate in Haiti. You could spin that any which way you want to spin it, to believe or make people believe or try to attempt to make people believe that this is about your deep-rooted this. But my friend, this is the Bahamas. This is a sovereign country. And Bahamians, whether you want to believe that we are free because Haiti had a revolution and you open the eyes, we acknowledge the history, but we also have our own history. And we make no apologies for it. And we are proud to be Bahamians. And if we are insulted by your shenanigans every year of trying to rub it in because that's what you feel like doing because that's in your blood, well, you appreciate that we take exception to it. Hard copy, how are you?
Hi, Steve.
Yes, sir.
You met a real Haitian just now. A Haitian comes from Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
Haiti has no laws that they enforce. Haitians don't give a damn about law in Haiti. They don't give a damn about law in Bahamas. They don't give a damn about law in the Dominican Republic. And that's why the Dominican Republic, that's why they didn't register in the Dominican Republic. And they're not going to register here because they don't give a damn what you think. They are biggity people. And if we don't mind these biggity people, they kick us right in the ass.
Yeah.
That's where we're going right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have a government who doesn't have, pardon the language, the balls to do what needs to be done to protect this country from biggity people like who just called you just now. Dominican Republic, made a statement about 3 months ago to Amnesty International. Dominican Republic says, we are a sovereign nation, and we will do what is best for ourselves, and we don't care what y'all say.
Yeah, that's how we should be. But see, we make too many apologies. We are too careful. We are too courteous. But I'm happy for the lady to call, because that explains exactly what I'm talking about. In your face, go to hell.
Exactly.
That's what that means.
The Haitians don't give a damn.
Yeah.
They prove that their flag,
But she feels as if she is this big champion, that she has said that, this is what we do and we don't care what you all think. And we will get BTC to sponsor it because BTC is perhaps very Haitianized.
They don't give a damn. And now I'll tell you something else, Steve. Listening to your show, I don't talk much, but listening to your show today, you could have possibly hit the nail squarely on the head when you said our leaders could possibly be so compromised that they are unable to act.
That's what it is.
Yeah. You see,
that is my summation.
Yeah, to draw an example for you. You see what happened with BTC and this not BTC, BEC, and this foreign company. They talk about bringing in. Well, if you think back 2 or 3 months,
yeah, whether America was making noise about it,
and America shot a ball across the bow.
I remember we talked about it. We talked about it.
About, hey, you fooling around now, and then they start, this is sovereign nation. You can't do that. So after that, all of a sudden they talking sense now.
They heard from the big boys.
Yeah. So our government, successive government, look at these guys, have so many damn skeletons in their closets that the Americans who would listen to them, I don't know,
on them cell phones
for years, have all their dirt. They cannot stand up and be men because Americans have cut them down. This is the problem we have in this country.
Very serious.
Too many leaders with too many skeletons, and they're unable to govern the unable to govern the doggone country.
I know you're upset, but this is where we are. We are at a place where the people can jump up and say what they feel like because they have their own propaganda that they believe. If this is what was said publicly by the lady just now, who says that she's a Bahamian of Haitian descent, she has such passion. She perhaps doesn't even like the fact that she's a Bahamian of Haitian descent. You see the point? Her real loyalty is not really here. And it proves my point that I was saying today, my brother. Because, see, listen to me now. It proves my point. How do you split yourself to say that you are a Bahamian, but you are dedicated to the Haitian way and to the Haitian culture and never assimilating to being Bahamian? In fact, her words are poisonous words that shows that she really could care less about Bahamians and their thoughts and all that. She doesn't even have the sensibilities to even say, well, I can understand what they're saying if they're offended by it, but I'm proud to be Haitian. That's different than saying that we don't really care what you think. We're here, that's what we're doing. I'm Haitian heritage, and I'm celebrating that more than I'm celebrating anything that has any semblance of Bahamian. So if you assimilate to be a Bahamian, to get the papers, to get the amenities, to get the place to live, to eat off the fat of the land, and you're saying, I still ain't with y'all, that's what our problem is. This is what I'm saying about division, dividing the country to the point where you can't have it both ways. No. But there's a lady just now who proved that, oh, yes, you can, because I don't give a damn about you all.
Yeah, that's the problem. And our government, no, forget the government. We know that it's 40 years of lousiness. They're playing fool in the damn government. We Bahamians, we nationalists, have to do something about this problem ourselves because the government, as you said, are too compromised and are unable to act. We need to do this ourselves. This nonsense got to stop.
I appreciate your call.
All right, Steve.
Thank you very much. And I've got lots of calls. Let me take these calls because we're over time. Hard copy, how are you? I'm listening. Go ahead, please. You don't have to agree with me. You can disagree. We're all fair. Hard copy, how are you? Gone. Hard copy, how are you?
Oh, yes. I feel very sad.
Turn off your radio, ma'am, so that you can hear us clearly.
Okay, I need to do that.
Yeah.
I'm very angry about the situation that I just heard. I feel like I can go and round those people up myself and make sure that they leave this country.
No, well, you cannot equate all of them.
The illegal ones.
No, but I'm saying, but not because somebody is, like I said, there'll always be a big mouth somewhere in the crowd. And how views probably does not represent most of their views. But that's how she expressed herself. I could appreciate what she's saying. I don't agree with her. I think she's off her rocker, but I could appreciate what she's trying to say.
Yes, and then what makes me even more sad is the fact that when Mr. Mitchell is fighting a losing battle, when he has immigration officers taking bribes and allowing the people to go.
My Lord.
Because they're being paid $1,500.
This is all alleged. You don't know this as a matter of fact. This is what you heard.
I do. Oh, yes, I do.
You know it as a matter of fact.
I know it as a
well,
matter of fact.
I want to just put the word alleged, that they're taking that in there so that we can be on the same page.
I spoke with the direct immigration, and I also am trying to get to speak with Mr. Mitchell. I am going to let the country know that Mr. Mitchell needs to deal with his officers.
Okay.
Because they
some of them
need to be making money.
Some of them, not all of them, right?
In this way. Not all of them. Oh, no. I will never say all of them. But there are many unscrupulous ones who are taking the Haitians' money. The Haitians do not realize that even though they pay the money, another group may come around and lock them up and send them out of the country.
Well, that's wrong. You should not. That's one of the problems with immigration, is with illegal immigration. See, it leaves them vulnerable because people will exploit them. People will rob them. People mistreat them. That's not a good thing. But that's what people will do if you are in a country without your papers, because you have no recourse. You can't run to the police. So you take the law into your own hands. So you have all kind of posses doing different things to people in retaliation for how badly they've been treated. And that's only because you yourself inflicted it upon yourself by coming into the country without papers. You're not legal. So you don't even exist in our system. That's how dangerous this thing is.
Well, I'm waiting for Mr. Mitchell to come back into this country so that I can inform him.
Well, please, you take it up with Mr. Mitchell, and I'm sure that if you tell him and he investigates, heads will roll. I appreciate your call.
Bill, when you hear me say I know what I'm talking about,
yeah, I believe you.
They think that I don't know.
I believe what you're saying.
And I will let him know what is going on.
Well, you must do that.
It hurts me.
That's your national duty.
To know that we are finally trying to do something about this illegal immigration situation, and we got unscrupulous officers.
Yeah, aiding and abetting. I appreciate your call. Thank you very much. And yes, if there are things that you do know and you feel strongly about, you should inform the authorities and put it in writing so that they would have it, and you would have your mark date where you said that I wrote you and told you X, Y, Z, nothing was done. Don't just tell them. Follow it up, because all of us have a responsibility in the country. I have a responsibility to keep calm and soberness among the people. You have a responsibility to abide by the rules and laws of the country, like all of us. And you should not be trying to infuriate people with your own personal agenda because you yourself hate Bahamians or you hate your situation. That's why we talk about unity. But you can't tell me about unity in my country, cuss me out and tell me you don't care what I think. That's the lady, she's the caller today. She actually proved what I was talking about. You cannot have two in one nation. It cannot work. You hear the hostility, you hear the accusations. A Bahamian talk show host now can talk about a problem in the country as far as she's concerned, because if he does, he hates the people. What foolishness. Nonsense. Can't take the truth. Can't take the reality of the situation. That, boy, you know, we really biggity. Boy, you know, they give us an inch and we want to take a mile. Boy, you know, I want to totally ignore that our people are coming here unceremoniously, illegally, in great abundance, and causing a burden on these people. No consideration for what we don't care what you think about that. All we know is that we opened the eyes of the world because we're the first to be independent. And she says, it's in the blood. There's a lot of other stuff in the blood too. A lot of stuff in the blood that you don't want to know about. Because if you know the story of what happened in Haiti, it was not a pretty sight. And that's one of the quiet fears that no one speaks about. In 2015, we are encouraging two nations' flags in competition. You have to think about that. Because it don't have to be, you know. It does not have to be. It doesn't have to be. But it is. And in the words of one who loves to say it too many times, it is what it is, but it's not a good thing. But what it is not a good thing. All these cliches that we have these days, not talking sense. You better understand where you are and who are we building the country for. That's the way it is. Hard copy, how you doing?
Oh, hi, Mr. McKinney. Hi. I really had to call back because I had called early and I heard that lady comment, the lady from Haitian ancestry.
Yeah.
So I had to call back because she commented on my question. And I want to stand behind my belief. I do maintain that there's no valuable contribution that they have significantly made in this country. And I'll give you an example. If you look at our educational system, the schools are overcrowded. You have Bahamian native-born citizens cannot get space in the schools. She made a point to say that they will be contributing educational-wise. Even when you have Haitian Bahamian children graduate from COB, getting jobs, how is that going to help our native Bahamian children in the job market if they have to be in competition in their own country against other nationalities that we are regularizing to be here? We are defeating ourselves. We're working against ourselves. There's no way that we could support another nation proliferating in the country like that.
Yeah, I see your point. But you know, that's just the way it is, eh? You have a situation where people feel emboldened because leadership is lacking.
Leadership is lacking desperately lacking. There's nothing personal here. It's all about trying to maintain the sovereignty of a nation for yourself. And what nation would not want to keep their sovereignty intact?
Well, the people who run from their nation has no respect for their nation. Bahamians don't run. We don't migrate so. And hopefully with God's blessing, we will never have to migrate so.
Thank God. I hope
the point is, though, it's getting to the point now where, you know, people are uncomfortable in their own neighborhoods because we're being inundated by the others who have no respect, no consideration for what they meant.
No consideration at all. And to tell the truth, you're right. If this trend keeps on, and if we keep on giving them citizenship, regularizing them with the mindset that they have, it really looks like it will be heading towards that, where they will become a more dominant person in the country because their numbers will be greater. And if they want to switch up the language, who can fight against that? Because the numbers will be great. And you do have persons who, not all politicians, but a lot of them may be unscrupulous looking for votes and don't mind the regularization and if the persons can get citizenship because they can vote for them to keep them powerful.
I appreciate your statements. Thank you very much. You see, my question is this. The big question of the day isn't the debate as to should they do this and that they believe that some people hate them for doing it. The big question really is this. Who are we building the country for? Now, the we that I'm talking about are we, the taxpayers. We, the legitimate people who have done what? Been building the country by paying our bills. If you are in that group, I'm talking to you. Doesn't matter what your nationality. But if you're not in that group, you have to ask yourself the question. We, the Bahamian people, the sovereign citizens of the Bahamas, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, an independent nation, the ones who here and decided that they were going to swear allegiance to our flag, because that's a part of the national assimilation, to swear allegiance to our flag. the national Bahamian flag. Since you want me to tell you outright, we say this is our country, this is our flag. Anything else outside of that means that you are not of the group that I'm talking about, that I'm asking the question, what's going to become of the Bahamian citizen, and who are we, the sovereign, swear to our flag people, building this country for? Because if you believe that you have a business right now in this country, and you figure that your children are going to inherit this business, and come to find out you building the business for some other people, you would close that business down right now. I tell you so. If you envision that some others going to inherit this business that you worked so hard for and your family's legacy, under your family's crest to build, and you figure out, based upon the conditions of the situation, this can be inherited by some other people, I don't think that you're going to waste your time building it. That's the big question. Who are we building the Bahamas for? That's for legitimate people. That ain't for the others. That's for the legitimate people, because only them can vote and have a say as to which direction we're going to go. The others are just what you call suckers. You know them things? Leeches would hang on to things and suck? Yeah. They have no say. Suck you clean, suck you dry. End of story. Suck you dry, move on to the next one. So when I talk on this national platform on Hard Copy, I am a Mr. Nationalist. Country first. I don't speak from no premise of a guessing. And even though sometimes I'm tempted to say some things that will rock your world, I refrain from doing so. Because I do know that there's a bigger picture that we have to look at. The long run. That's how nationalists think. Nationalists embrace all. We hate none. But nationalists believe in those things nationalistic first and foremost. After God and family. And we make no apologies for it. And that's why when some who call themselves residents of the Bahamas and don't have citizenship in this country, but want to talk about people in this country in a derogatory way, like one ex-policeman did to Bahaman the other day, I will speak. And I make no apologies for it. Because we have some soft fellas in the governance of the country who forget how to stand up. That's what it is. You got some fella talking nonsense about Bahaman. Ain't nothing. They only make one record, and they get that from a Trinidadian. No, sir. Egregious statements made by Paul Thompson. Never apologized. Why? He don't care what you think, obviously. If he cared what you think, I would say, beg my pardon, I didn't mean it like that. And even if I give no explanation, I'll leave it right there. But no. No. That's what we're dealing with. We have that in our country. And while we're a God-fearing nation who embraces everybody and wants things to be right, nobody wants to understand what the Bahamian wants. We want to care about what everybody else wants before what the Bahamian want. Well, let me tell you something. There is none in the Bahamas bigger than the Bahamian. None. I don't care how much money you have. You ain't bigger than no Bahamian who born here. Keep that in mind. With love and respect. It's our country that God gave us. We share it, but we share it with sense. Yeah. The woman says that the Haitian lady who called said we haven't shown her anything. Meaning Bahamians haven't done nothing. That's what she means. We ain't showing nothing. But when we enforce the laws, maybe that will count to something. I still got calls on the line. I've got to go home, friends. Hard copy, how are you? Yes, sir. Peace.
Yeah, the lady was called, I think she's Asian lady, called you arguing with you a little while ago. Yeah, if she that proud of Haiti, then why is she still here?
Well, I asked her.
And those who got the heights and the flag, who proud of the flag and put these insulting t-shirts on and playing their music and all that stuff, why are you here? If you're proud of the land and you're proud of the flag and you're proud of the country, why are you here?
Well, it's economics. They're here because this is where sweetness is. The heart's not here. You ever hear the fella say, or the woman say, love me like you mean it. Don't play with my emotions. But we're supposed to swear allegiance to the flag, renounce all other nationalities, and pick up our new bundle and go for gold. No, they say that they're doing that, but it's only lip service, whispering sweet nothings to us. But it serves us right. It serves us right. Because our leadership has been breached a long time ago. This didn't just happen. And history will record all of them, as they say in Andres, all of them are being compromised, derelict in duty, and non-patriotic. Those three things, remember that. Hard copy, how are you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Why you say amen, man?
The choir say amen.
Yes, man. Listen, I get a better song. Your body's here with me.
But your mind is on the other side of town.
Side of town, my brother. Let me show you something. See, this is why I am so angry with leadership. This government and executive leadership, they frustrate you. They frustrate these people. They don't understand. We put them there to do a job. We need to start calling names. Mr. Kendall Major, we need you all to stand up. I know you're the representative and you in the House of Assembly as the speaker, but we need brothers like you all to stand up. Renwood Bells, we calling for y'all, man. Because if you mind the Prime Minister Christie them, these fellas them, they done out to lunch. And this is why, Brother Steve, this is why you cannot allow these people to get citizenship and ability to vote. That lady who called, imagine her becoming a parliamentarian and moving up to be the leader of this country. Indigenous Bahamian would be finished.
Yeah, it's very...
Give them the ability to vote. We need to protect us, Steve. Steve, these brothers them who out to lunch, they ain't checking for us. The problem is, they owe so much people so much favors. Have you ever noticed? Every time Perry Christie birthday now, the president come and bring him a gift, he needs to stop taking these gifts, man. You know what in these gifts? These brothers joking, this is spiritual war and they playing with us. The real Bahamian ain't for this, Steve. Steve ain't for this, They frustrating us. We put them there to do a job and they joking. They joking, Steve.
I hear you.
Our run.
I hear you, brother.
They want our run, Steve.
Preaching to the choir.
I mean, really, we listen. Oh, yeah, we really feeling this. You can imagine these brothers, all right? When they burning in the flag, they go telling us they can put us in the Colombian necktie. When they doing that, they got shirts with all kind of funny things on it, cheering us. And you got leaders, they sitting right up there and they ain't doing nothing, man. What we get them for? Is there a way that we could just give them a package deal and just pay them off and tell them, man, listen, let things be till 2017. We don't need y'all no more. We can't upfront them no money just to go. We can't do that. They're giving everyone else package. We can't do that for them.
We'll have to let them join BTC so that Leon Williams could give them those disengagement packages.
Listen, I willing for my tax to increase right now. Honestly, I can go right now.
I appreciate your call, brother.
Pay them off up front. But McKinney, you still there?
I hear what you're saying. I'm gonna run though. But I hear you, brother. I hear you talking strong, and you're not talking wrong. I appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, see, sometimes these things yuck up people's vexation, but we've got to take it in strides. All we said here today on the show, for clarity, is this: that look, can we have a country with two flags? She says, all around the world may very well be so, but the predominance of them here, raising the flags in a sovereign country at a time when we can at least expect, or we can at least afford, any kind of combustion, any kind of, this is a real serious time. So, you see, it's up to the government to be aware of these things, in my opinion, to mitigate in a way that this cannot happen because it's too provoking. Doesn't anybody care anymore what the Bahamian think? You mean it gone that bad that not even what we think should matter? Not even what we feel should matter? That's why that question that I asked today is very important. Who are we building this country for? Final call for the day.
Hey, Steve.
Hi there.
How you doing, man?
You supposed to call me today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow, but listen, man, I've been holding for a whole hour now. You got to give me $10 tomorrow.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
I got one or two things I want to say, Steve. And then can the public do their job? Australia doing their job. Italy doing their job. I don't see why the Bahamian people can't do our job. So, Steve, I can say one thing, right, because I'm getting kind of tired. See, the lady said that they went independent in 1804. Tell about 1942. And that's all I got to say today.
I hear you. All right. I appreciate your call. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for calling the show today and expressing yourself. I asked you to, and I appreciate it. Those who oppose, those who disagree, those who express themselves, that's the healthy thing to do. After all, this is the Bahamas, and we're a democracy, and we invite all sides to speak, because on hard copy, we have nothing to hide. There's no stealth operation here. There's open transparency and accountability. And I don't agree with the lady who called. I totally disagree with her, but I appreciate her viewpoints, because this is how we know that we are either off course, on base, or under the base. And from my gathering today, listening to all that happened, the Bahamian people are offended by the Flag Day. That is being rubbed in our faces. And as somebody said, they gave a nutshell and a capsule as to how it's been going over the years, from burning Shouldn't leadership see what we see and try to deal with it to, make sure that we can nip it in the bud, so to speak? Nobody be offended, because everyone has their festivals, and the Haitian people ought to have their festival too. But what you ought not to have is something that's confrontational, something that's an insult to the Bahamian people, and you don't even care about it. Come now. Shouldn't we be more reasonable than that? Shouldn't we try to coexist in peace and harmony? Why can't we do that? We can't do that because to do that, both parties must be willing. Both sides. But if you're going to call yourself a Bahamian or a Haitian Bahamian or this or that, and there's no straight record, the fact of the matter is, once you come to the Bahamas and you renounce and you apply and you get your citizenship and all that kind of stuff, you're Bahamian. Nobody says that you can't speak your language among your people. Nobody says that. But respect some things that you would have done under the auspices of swearing for citizenship. One of them is, I will pledge my allegiance to the flag. Our flag. That's the bottom line. And there's no argument against it. Those who argue against that particular point has to be crazy, literally, because that's what countries do. That's why there's assimilation. That's why there's the renouncement of your other country, and that's why you pick on a new attitude. America is so great for it. America is great. Can we learn something from America? I mean, leadership. There's a way in a process they do it. Not anybody, because of political favor or political ambitions or aspirations or political expediency, do they do that. They take it serious to be a citizen of America. So they've got other ethnic groups, multinationals from different walks and chimes, different ethnicities, but guess what? One America. What a country. Oh, America, you're great. I salute you, America. You understand what it's all about. Some of us are still from the old school and from the old village where kisses go by favor that eventually corrupts and breaks up the country. That's what our problem is. In my humble opinion, you don't have to agree with me, but if you disagree with me, please make sense. Now, let me turn my attention to the text messages for the day. Then we shall go home. Boy, Steve, there's a place outside of Bluffy Lutra called Blackwood. Steve, this person says, Steve, that little settlement is all Haitian, and they are breathing babies out like they are preparing to outnumber us. And Steve, they have their own economy, and they don't spend any money outside that place. Steve, we are in trouble, and something has to be now, because this has to stop, is what that person says from Eleuthera. Another one says, our Constitution needs to be amended to have levels of residency and citizenship. We do have, well, we don't have levels of residency. You're either a permanent resident, and that's it. So I hear you. That's interesting. This one says, Steve, if two or more of them are together in the midst of Bahamians, they speak in their own language, and that is very disrespectful. They could be planning something, and the police don't even know. If they're here, they should speak English. Well, Miles Monroe believes that any country is destined for failure if you want to have multiple languages, especially in a small country like ours. In a country, this person says, in a country where we can't even get the color of our flag right after 40 years, maybe we are expecting too much from the leaders that have too little to offer. This person says, Steve, we can't do the same as, say, Steve, why can't we do the same as the Dominican Republic? This one says, Christie plus Ingham equals fails country. Bahamians keep speaking of Bahamas. Better will come. Push is what they say. This one says, Steve, the Defense Force has a supply ship on the way that can shuttle them back home. Another one says, get this here. Steve, another thing. Some of us in the Lucia reported the immigration to Nassau because he was catching too many of them. So he got his letters last week to return to Nassau. Immigration officer, they're saying. This one says, we should all let them spend 2 weeks in Haiti and see what they think. This one says, Steve, when the illegals from the Dominican Republic come here, they will be speaking Spanish. Father, help us. So we'll have 3 languages finally, right? Spanish, Creole, and English. This one says, history will show that Haitian rebelled for everything they want. Example, independence. Every leader they had, including Miami. Oh, they rebel, he says, for everything. Independence, every leader they have, and they even did this in Miami. This person says, just amazing, Steve. Mr. Williams can find the time to speak at Haitian Flag Day, but can't seem to find the time to sit with the BCPOU. My, what a shame. That's somebody commenting on Mr. Williams' relationship with the union. Another one says, Mr. McKinney, I'm just sick and tired. Both governments have yet to say how many persons got citizenship and why paper Bahamians can vote. Better yet, join the police force and other government office. And another government office. This one says, Steve, this is always a depressing topic for me, and the startling reality is there are more of them than we. Mr. Ingham said so, like the Guardian have foretold, when we are completely overrun, when you're coming, please bring the flag if they haven't burned. Say, when you're coming, please bring the flag if they haven't burned it as yet. This one says, hi, Steve. We are Bahamians. One people, one flag, one country. Any other agenda will not be tolerated. We all call on our government, along with Mr. Mitchell, who's doing a fine job, to enforce the laws and rules of this country. That's what that person says. And so some of the text messages tonight that we'll post for you on Facebook. Let me just say, I believe eventually things will work out in this country. But the first step is this. Leaders must put on an armor of courage and do what is right in the interests of the future Bahamas. Maybe this generation of us will have to tolerate and suffer. But for God's sake, don't let it happen to the future Bahamians. We must fix things that need fixing, and we must be about that business with great urgency. That's our show for the night. We're going to call it a day. We thank you very much for listening in. Irvin Weish has been my producer. Irvin, let's go home. It's been a presentation of the McKinney Media Group and tonight's sponsors, the Utilities Regulations Competition Authority, Bank of the Bahamas, BTC Every Day, Super Value, the Bahamian Supermarkets, the McKinney Media Group, Island Made Products, Ministry of Tourism, the Department of Labor, Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue, Super Wash with 11 locations, open 24/7, Ron's Electric Motors, Sky Bahamas,